How sick are you of people asking if you're natural?
God. Now at this point, I'm used to it because I've been getting it for like a decade. But what I've noticed is a lot of it is really dependent upon the type of content which I put out. So when I'm doing vlogs and day-to-day stuff, not many people talk about steroids or anything like that because the focus is on something else, like just happened in the video. When it peaked recently was when I did a full week of training in Ibiza, my current split. And I was at the gym, training topless. I'd managed to get myself into probably one of the best conditions I've been in for a while. It's not that I was bigger, it was just that I was leaner. So obviously when you get leaner, you have the appearance of looking bigger. But because when I was in the gym, I was topless, I was like seriously pumped up because my physique changes a lot from me
flat to pumped
up. So everyone was just like, Jesus, like that looks pretty damn crazy. And then the whole argument comes with, is he natural, is he not natural? And then a few other big YouTubers started making videos on whether I'm natural or not.
Derek from More Plates, More Dates.
Yeah, Greg Doucette. I think Greg Doucette did like 3 videos of me this summer, which is...
Easy views, man.
Yeah, so in a way it's good because I get some publicity from him. But, if someone thinks I've taken something, most of the time, they're always going to think that. And there's not really much I can do to change their mind. But the thing that annoys me is when people will message me and be like, do you know, I used to think you were such a role model, but now that I know that you're not natural, I just...
Because of some guy's video on YouTube.
Because he has a proper cult following. People believe everything he says. And
what was his justification for why you're on gear?
Because of the supposed low levels of body fat, which I have. He said I had 6% body fat, which is not true. No way do I have 6%.
What are you?
I would say most of the time I'm hovering around 10, 11. But it's the distribution of where I hold my body fat. I don't have a huge amount on like my abs or like my torso area. It's like a lot of it's on my thighs and lower back. But he definitely eyed that up wrong. And I think a lot of people assume that I hold, that peak condition which I was in. They assume I'm like that all the time, but I'm not. Times when I'm not looking my best, I just don't show it. I don't when I'm looking like a little bit chubbier for me, I'm not going to take a picture of myself like that. Or I'm going to find like the lighting where I look the best and then I'll show people. That's what people need to understand. Like when they see me in, especially Instagram, if you see pictures of me topless, that is me when I'm looking my best. If I've been to the gym, got a pump on, or I found like the right lighting, I'm picking the best picture out of like 20 to 30
with a pro photographer.
Yeah. Somebody who knows what angle to get. So there was that. And
does it irritate you? Does it get to you?
It does when people say that I'm a liar. And the thing is, I've never made a video addressing this because there is no universal test to prove that someone is natural. It doesn't exist. There's things you can do. You can take like the lie detector test. You can get blood work done. There's a few other things you can do as well, but it doesn't prove that you have never ever taken steroids. If I'd done all of those things, and people be like, okay, well maybe you're natural now, but maybe a year ago, or from the age of 22 to 26, you would probably take steroids to build the foundation, and now you're not. So it's annoying. I wish that universal test did exist.
So you could take it.
So I could take it.
You take it if there was
I would take it 100%. And I would want everyone to take it because it would be nice to know who actually is natural and who's not.
Imagine how much Larry Wheels would break that test.
I know. There's a lot of people that break that test. I do think there are some athletes out there who are natural and they look unbelievable. But there is also a hell of a lot of people who are taking stuff in the fitness industry. It's a very competitive industry and people are trying to look the very best. And people are willing to take or do whatever it takes.
Do you understand why people think that, given the sort of condition that you're in?
Yeah. I think if I was to look at myself, I would definitely think it's achievable to get. I don't think I'm like freaky. I think everything's like in proportion. I don't have like crazy delts. I don't have like spots or anything. But this is the thing which is interesting because I have friends, a lot of friends who have taken stuff. The guy I used to be in business with, he was taking quite a lot of stuff, and he didn't look very good. Like, didn't look that impressive. There's a lot of people who are taking gear and they don't look that great. Now, let's say, for example, I'm one of those people. I'm taking a lot of gear and I look okay, and then I see a physique like mine, and I'd be like, God, if this is what I look like and I'm taking all this, imagine what he's taking. They cannot comprehend that I'm actually not taking anything at all. So that's something which I imagine if anyone who's taking steroids and they look at my physique and they don't look anywhere near as good, then they will naturally just assume that I'm taking something.
And that will trigger them.
Yeah. And what I always like to show, I'll send you this picture, you maybe put it on the video.
Make it appear now.
There's a picture of me 10 years old, and like I have very strange development of like, I've got abs, I've got like my calves, I've got biceps. And I'm like, look, this is me at 10 years old.
Before puberty.
Yeah, before puberty. So obviously I'm not a normal person. Like, genetics are definitely in my favor. And because this is like my biggest passions, it's my career, I've dedicated my life to it for the past decade, I've been training for 12 years, then yeah, I'm gonna look quite good.
One of the things that I always find funny about it is that because we've known each other for so long, and I still know you as the guy that we used to spot me in the gym and we used to train together and do whatever at the university gym, and training upstairs at the Centre for Sport and Excellence at Newcastle Uni. And seeing that trajectory, you've got sort of linearly bigger pretty much since I've known you. So maybe plateaued a little bit over the last like sort of 4 years. Conditions maybe improved a little bit. But you essentially just got linearly bigger from when we've known each other. And I appreciate why people on the internet who look and see the end result think that that's ridiculous. But I put a photo up on my IG, Dean, make it appear now, yesterday, of us when we were working for Globe Girls, doing like hosting.
Heavily oiled up.
Very, very oiled up, yeah, very slippery. Like that, and that's just this sort of slow and steady way progression. Another thing as well, I've been mates with your ex-flatmates, your ex-girlfriends, and also then watched your progression, I guess, into YouTube. None of them, you would have to have such an unbelievable conspiracy network to keep everybody quiet about what it is that you're on. For no one amongst that, even like an ex-girlfriend is the patient zero for the person who would want to call out the thing that would rumble their ex. And she never did.
No.
And then the only other thing, like if anyone's got questions, and this is what I always say because people know that I know you, and they say, oh, like, fucking hell, what's he on? I'm like, he travels to a lot of different countries. How effective at smuggling drug? Like, not only is he a YouTuber, but he's also like a top level drug runner. He's able to like smuggle testosterone and growth hormone and insulin.
Especially last year, the amount of places I went to last year, like effectively trying to do that would have been a miracle.
So yeah, I think. When did it get worse? Or when was there a period before you're now quite equanimous and relaxed about it? Was there a period where you thought, I'm going to have to address this?
When I started YouTube, that's when a lot of the rumors came about. And I wanted to address it. I wanted to put a video together, but I was thinking, so many times I've thought how to do this properly.
It must be a temptation.
Because I've seen other people do it and they failed miserably. Like I've seen Simeon Panda. He tried to make a video claiming that he was natural. And he got so much hate for it. So much hate.
What did he do wrong?
I think people just don't believe him. They look at his physique and they're like, no, it's not possible that you're natural.
Do you think he is?
He could be. I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know what all these people are doing. You're just assuming. And all these people that make videos about me, it's like, you don't know me. You don't know what I do. This is just you making an assumption based on the way I look. It's what everyone is doing. With Simeon Panda, like, he looks crazy. He looks freaky. He could be a genetic freak. You know, billions of people on this planet. There are going to be some genetic freaks out there. And it's been a while since I've seen that video, but he did a lie detector test. I think he did a few other things as well. People just straight up refuse to believe it. Like, and if I was to do the same thing, try and make this video, do all these tests. If somebody is in their head convinced that you take steroids, it's almost impossible to change their mind.
That would be an interesting one. So if there's people watching who think that that would be a good idea for a video, I'd love to know in the comments what level of evidence they would accept to believe. Like if you were to do a thing, an independently administered this test or whatever, because I think you're quite right. It's kind of like the boy that cried wolf, happy to continue to accuse you of using PEDs, but also there is no level of evidence that they would be happy with to accept that you're not.
Yeah. And even, let's say, for example, I was trying to imagine a world where there actually was a test. Then I would imagine people could possibly pay huge amounts of money to cheat the test, because that would have a huge impact on their career and then maybe how many programs they sell. So I honestly wish they'd never been invented. I wish steroids didn't exist.
Because you wouldn't have
Because I would be like up here. And then everyone else would be, and there wouldn't be all this shit and all this like pointless debates. I used to argue with people. I used to get into arguments with people online and try and prove, in the comments, like, no, I'm natural because I learned it. Just a huge waste of energy. I spent all day, every day arguing with people as to whether I'm natural or not.
On your YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube, on Instagram, whatever it might be. And I'm like, it's not productive whatsoever. Can't change their mind. Waste of time.
Have you ever been tempted to take steroids?
I've been curious to know what I would look like, but I think I would just look freaky, like too big. I don't want to be that big. Like I've been very content with the way I have looked and my progression. And I think now, like, it's kind of plateaued. I've kind of looked the same for the past few years. If I wanted to take my condition to the next level, what would have to happen is I would have to live a very monk-like existence. The social life would take a hit. Everything would need to be very regimented. I'd probably need to have a coach. Every session would need to be so unbelievably brutal. My nutrition would have to be on point. Every meal prepped. No alcohol. No parties. 8 hours sleep every single night. And yeah, I would look better. I'd probably put on a bit of size. But that's not a life I want to live.
It's a price you're not prepared to pay.
Yeah. I competed twice before. And
did you?
Yeah. 2014, 2015, WBFF.
Okay.
And it was a good experience to actually go on stage and to go through the whole process of competing. I didn't like it. It was the first time in my life where I was like really not happy with my physique, because I was just like, oh God, like I'm just not lean enough. Even though I was fucking shredded, I was like, oh, you can't see like the striations in my ass. Like who the hell cares about that? But that was like the weird mindset that I was getting into.
Are you concerned about having a physique like yours and putting it out online, about what sort of body dysmorphia that might cause downstream?
For me?
For other people that are
for other people. Yeah. Because I think there's a lot of people who would want to look like me. And I don't want to be like brutal, but I want to be realistic with people. I think anyone should go out there with a mindset of trying to achieve their dreams and not letting anything stop them. But if someone is like, they got like kids, they're working like a really stressful job, and they have, at the end of the day, really shit genetics, like they're gonna have a very, very hard time coming close to looking like me when my whole life is dedicated to looking like this, and I've got good genetics as well. So it's tough, and that's why I never ever say in my videos, you can look like me. I've never said that once. Most of my videos have been put out there to just help people to stop making mistakes which I've made. Like to just help them eat better, eat the right things, and to just, more importantly, just lift with proper technique. Technique is massive. Form, execution, intensity. Most people lack that when they go to the gym. So if everyone just focused on that a little bit more, they would be a hell of a lot closer to looking the way they want to look, or the best that they could possibly look.
I think that's a good insight, that when people do the comparison game, we're not all starting from the same base point.
Yeah.
Like I'm as much of a like shit talker and a critic as will be, but I believe that you're natural. And given that fact, and given the way that we've both seen friends of ours, mutual acquaintances, jump on huge cycles and then come off and not make that much difference to their physique, you have to think like, there's something in you. I know that your passion is lifting weights. There's something in your particular physiology composition that doesn't actually want you to be that big or that lean.
Yeah.
And the fact that that can be true means that sadly some people's passions aren't actually what they're going to be good at. You can love lifting weights, but if your love of lifting weights is determined by the outcome, i.e. end goal physique that you get at the end of it, some people are putting themselves into a situation where the only outcome is disappointment.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Because that's funny, because a lot of people say, oh, you should do what you're really passionate about. But sometimes you should just do what you're really good at the end of the day.